friends, welcome to Discoveries in Mixed Media. Today we're going to be working with paint again. Last week we just did some crude work with the paint, and what I mean by crude is there was no refinement to it. We just plopped paint on the paper, folded the paper in half, and then I actually ended up dragging a paintbrush through it, which had an absolutely beautiful effect. As a matter of fact, there might still be a piece on my desk. I went ahead and made some greeting cards with one of the pieces, but here's the other one, and look how beautiful, perfect for springtime. So today though, we're going to use a different technique. I'm sharing with you here that I've got my mixed media paper pad. You could experiment with different papers that have different weights and different textures. You could use a variety of like rice paper, printer paper, watercolor paper. In my case, this is mixed media, but we might pull out another paper just to experiment with it. I'll wait and see on that. I wanted to let you know that I went ahead and I grabbed some spray bottles. Now, I know for a fact you can get some of these at the dollar store. I got mine at Hobby Lobby. And then I also got some paint pippets. Now, I don't know if they have these at the dollar store. I took them out of the package so that you could see them. Let me get something a little bit darker perhaps underneath because they are translucent. So they're a little bit hard to see. Now I think you can see them a little bit better. But they're, you just take them and you dip them in your paint, and then you can just do drops. So these will provide for a more refined paint application as opposed to last week where I was just shaking the paint bottle and dropping it on the paper. I will be taking some paints and watering them down in order to use them properly in this, and also I'll be watering them down in order to be able to use them in my spray bottles as well. I also, and I don't know if you have any on hand, but if you have old tie-dye hanging around, I've got some of that in a spray bottle. Let's have some fun playing with that. So go ahead and get your materials together, get your paper, maybe perhaps a variety of paper, get some spray bottles if you have them. Get these pippets. If you don't have them, that's okay. You might have a dropper from anything. It's surprising what we can find droppers around our house. Like I have a vitamin D dropper because I take the liquid vitamin D. If once that's empty, I'll probably save that for my art. So, but if you don't have a dropper, that's okay. There are other ways to apply paint. Let me share one with you. Clearly, a paintbrush is a good way to apply paint, and you can take one that's like this. It's kind of round. It's not a flat paintbrush, and this you could take and make your dots as opposed to dropping them. You could just hand stamp them on there. If you actually don't have a paintbrush, that's quite all right. Believe it or not, and I'm looking for mine here. I don't have it here. I used to have it here. I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, pretend this is a pencil. You can use a pencil eraser and dip that in your paint, and it makes perfectly perfect round circles. So that can be a lot of fun. And if you don't have that, you might have something else in your stash that you could dip into the liquid that would drop the paint on. I wanted to show you what I gathered. So I've got some watercolors here. These are probably just cheap, sort of generic watercolors. I don't even know where they came from, but I figured we'll go ahead and have a play, which means I'll also have to get a glass of water specific for that. I have my paint palette that my daughter has used and not cleaned, so it is what it is, but we've got this because I'm going to take some of these, water them down, and then I'll pour them in there. You might remember from last week, I already have some watered down paints. These are pretty watery. I could probably stick this pipette right in there and use that straight from there, or I might pour it in here. And then some of these are still pretty, this is almost empty, so I'll probably just put some water in that. And then some of these are almost, actually this one's almost empty too. So probably just go straight up water in these, and then these I'll have to go ahead, drop some in here, and then add the water to it, and then just mix it inside of the palette. And then if I want to use, let's do it, we're going to experiment today. I'll water some down, and I'll go ahead and put it in here, and we'll go ahead and do some spraying. Friends, I thought we'd have a little fun today also and try something a little bit different that we don't normally think about. when we're working with paints, and not all of us want to rush out and grab the really expensive alcohol inks and all that. Now, I'll pick them up when they're on clearance, but I'm not going to pay full price for them. So I have only a few in my stash because I don't always find them on clearance. But I do look for alternatives, and we're going to experiment with those alternatives today. Next week, we're going to do a different alternative. But today, I wanted to share with you that I'm going to, remember the spray bottles I showed you? Well, I'm going to go ahead and put a little teaspoon of vinegar in the spray bottle. I'm going to drop this tablet in one, and then I'll do like maybe blue for the other. And then we'll have some, and then I'll add water to it. And then we're going to go ahead and spray with those as well. I wish I would have picked up some more spray bottles. I'll look around in my stash just to see if I have more, because if I do, I'd like to add these other colors as well and just have some fun using that. And these are now, it's Easter time now. It's, that's in April. So these would be easy to find if you wanted something inexpensive to have in your stash that you can play and experiment with. All right, my friends, so I wanted to show you what we've got going on here. So number one, I covered my space because I'm going to be spraying, and I'm a messy creator and I love that. I wouldn't change it. I don't mind being messy, but I have a bunch of stuff on my desk that I wanted to protect. So I put a towel down. Now I've got some paintbrushes, not that I intend to use them today, but I have them. And of course I've got these, and I decided that for all these other colors, since I have sprayer for two, so the red, which might actually translate to pink, is in a sprayer, the yellow is in a sprayer, and then we've got blue, orange, I don't know, what else do we have? Oh, here's orange, and we've got green. It was such a pretty color green. And of course these could be thinned out with the use of a larger cup and more water. And what do we have here? Oh, this is the pink one. So this definitely actually is red or purple maybe. We'll see when we start to play with it. And then here we have blue. So pretty, right? So I went ahead and sort of followed the instructions. I put a little bit of vinegar in there, and then I added water. And I don't think the ratios actually matter. The vinegar is to make it hold fast, and then the water is to certainly dilute it. So you could use a much larger cup if you wanted to. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know what we had on hand so we can get ready to play. I've got two acrylic paints. They're both in here. I haven't mixed them because I don't want anything to dry out. So I dropped the acrylic paint in, I put the water over it, and like I said, I'm not mixing them quite yet. I'll do that when I'm ready to apply them. And then I have my ones that are already watered down. So this one was already, remember that from last week, I went ahead and added some water to the yellow, and I added water to the blue, so this will be ready to go. And let's see, and then this one already had water. But what I think we're going to do, let's start with our Easter egg color tablets and have a little fun with that. We may or may not even get to the watercolors because we might have enough fun with the Easter egg, but we will see. And also, I wanted your opinion about something, my friends. Let me know if you like it when we experiment. We do our experiments, and then I take it and then I create with it, like tags or cards or whatever. That's what we've been doing on our Wednesday Discoveries in Mixed Media. We've been doing a complete follow-through. Let me know if you like that, or if you just want to do the experimenting and have that be it. I kind of like letting you see what I make with my experiments, but let me know your thoughts on that. Well, what we're going to do here, we're going to start with a base of yellow, and I'm just going to go ahead and, whoops, I'm going to go ahead and spritz this on here. Maybe I'll do like half yellow. Well, let's just do some yellow and then some green. Look how light it is. I love that. Not green, but this one. This is going to be red or pink. Let's find out. There's only one way to find out. Now, I do know that I already had some acrylic paint on this paper left over from last week. It accidentally got on here, but we're just going to embrace that. It's not a problem. Ooh, pretty. Oh, pretty, pretty, pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I'm in love with it already. All right, so we've got our spray on there. And the mixed media paper does great with that, so that's going to work on drying. And now let's go ahead and let's do some drops. And we're just going to drop them. You could drop them close to each other if you wanted. or not. Here's some pink. I definitely want to get some pink up in the corners. Actually, let's do a little, we'll do a little edge with the pink. Now, you could brush through these. You could take a heat gun to them and sort of blast them around. You could take your paper and hold it like this so that you get a little drip. You might have to shake it. Gonna have to shake mine a little bit. Oh, they're not wanting to go. Isn't that funny? There we go. I got a few of them to go. Well, maybe I'll go grab my heat gun and blast them so that you can see how you can move the colors around. Friends, I want to let you know you don't have to use a heat gun. You could use a hairdryer if you wanted to. Now let's experiment. Let's put a green one right here. I'm going to make it kind of large. What happens if I go straight down with the heat tool? Did you notice how I could almost draw with the heat gun? I just chased the little puddles of water around, and some of them, like this one, went into almost a circle. So I think that's really, really fun, and a really cool technique could be developed with that if you wanted to take the time to do it. So what do I do with the rest of the puddles? I could let them dry in place. I could go in with my finger and just sort of smear them around. Let's see what happens when we do that. I think this is so super pretty, you guys. I'm going to go in with a little more yellow and probably a little more of the pink, if you will, and just make sure I have full coverage over the full piece of paper so that we don't have a bunch of white showing. Oh my gosh, I think it's so pretty. Friends, that was a lot of fun, and I think this is such a pretty piece, perfect for springtime. I'm going to cut this off, set it aside to dry. I want to do another one. All right, this one, I'm going to go ahead. I think I'm going to do most of it in this, it's sort of pink, it's sort of coral color here. So we've got a pretty good foundation down with that, just maybe a small spritz here, here, there. Okay. That would be kind of cool too, to do like one side one color and then the other side another color. But we've done what we've done with that. Now let's go in with green. I think green will be super pretty with this orangey corally background color. So you can see that I hit it pretty heavily. Now we're going to go in with this and see what we can make. All right, my friends, here we are with the pink. So it does dry pink as opposed to coral. So we'll remember that, the pink and the green. I think it's really, really pretty. I think it's such a cool pattern, and I just chased it around with a heat gun, and I really, really like it. So let's do one. Let's see if we could make a flower. All right, we have our clean piece of paper here. Now I don't know if we can make a flower, but I'm going to go ahead and do our background in yellow. So clearly I won't be making a yellow flower. And I'm going to go ahead and dry the background real quick. Okay, now here's the plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the green, and I'm going to, you know what, maybe I could even draw with this. Let's find out. Let's do this and add a leaf. Let's do this a couple of times. I like it. I like it so far. We'll do a tall one over here. There we go. Do we like that? I think we do like that. So that was like super easy. So let's go ahead and figure out if we can do a flower. I'm thinking, we'll do the center last. Let's do the petals. Let's start with pink. And I'm thinking we're just gonna like do something like this. And let's just see what happens. Go like that. Okay, there's a pink one. Now, can I fill it in? Well, I can. That's why we've got our paintbrush, right? So let's see what happens. I wonder if I want to go in with this round one and just sort of drag the water into place. Get some of this pink over here. Do that a little bit over here. I don't want to interfere with this green thing, although it feels that I did just interfere with it quite a bit. Okay, and now we've got that. That's pretty soupy. So what I learned from that is less is more. So let's try it again over here with this one. Let's see if I can maybe not make it too wet, right? Drawing our little petals in here. Here we go. Okay. I like it. I do still think it's a little bit wet, but I'm going to see what happens if I just leave that alone as opposed to what I did over here by spreading it with the paintbrush. And then another thought comes to mind. I'm going to grab a paper towel. So I'm going to take this paper towel and I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to introduce a corner of it to this flower petal over here, and it should absorb it. Let's find out. Yes, it is absorbing it. So it's making it less watery, which I like. It's doing it in such a way that's not spreading it around. So this, okay, this is great, you guys. So just know that if you get a little too much water, take a paper towel. Don't drag it across the image. Just lay a dry part of it on the image. And it seems like it's just going to pick it up for you. So I'm really happy with that. Should I do the same over here? What happens if we take this and sort of lay it on it? Let's find out. We're not going to move it around. We're just going to lay it down. And now I'm going to pick it up. Wow, okay, it cleaned some of that up for me. It didn't spread it. I was really afraid of it spreading it, but it didn't. Now, I could maybe take the remaining and move it into the inside of the petals with the paintbrush. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see what happens. Well, the paintbrush is absorbing most of the leftover water paint here. Let's see. Yeah, because I absorbed so much of it. Wow, this is fun experimentation. It's coloring it in a little bit, but not like a ton. Oh, I like it though. Oh, this is great. Look at that. So fun, you guys, so fun. All right, so what if I come in here with the green and I just sort of make these a little bit more like how I think they might look in real life. A little bit of a wider leaf here. What do you think about that? Could make these a little wider too. Let's do that over here. Just a little bit. It's kind of faint, but nice, right? I think I like it. This one's a little chunky, but here, let's do this. There we go. Okay. And maybe that'll work. Okay. This is fun. Okay. So we did that. That was great fun. Now let's get our third flower here. Oh, and then we're also going to have to think about adding details. But before we do I want to go blue? I don't know if I want to go blue. What if I did this? I'm going to take the top off. I'm going to grab this little one because it's already got some pink in it, just a lighter pink. And we won't put too much in, but let's see what we can do. Interesting. I was trying to see, actually, let me see if I can suck that back up. I was trying to see if I could make like a pointier leaf, but I don't know if I did it right. Let's try over here. Okay, so that I don't get too much on there, I think I might try to use the paintbrush to do the rest of it. Let's see what happens. Let's absorb that in the paintbrush. It does absorb right in there. Okay, I'm gonna fill these in. Okay, all right, what do we think about that? I mean, I like it so far. You know, I'm not trying to be perfect. We're just having a good time. We're just experimenting. Maybe I'll add another leaf here. There we go. Okay, so that's a whole lot of fun right there. I love it, I love it. Oh my gosh, you hear the trucks out back? They are really working hard back there. Now let's mix our media. Let's go in with a pink marker, and we're gonna go ahead and just draw in some details. I don't know how specific I want to be. I kind of like really the fluidity of the watercolor. I really like that that's sort of speaking for itself. But, you know, we're just gonna play. Today's about playing and experimenting. This flower is kind of a coral color, and so I figure I'll go in with orange on this one. I'm not really trying to follow the lines. I'm just trying to add a detail. So this is not perfection here. This is just adding a detail. That's literally all it is. Now, I've been thinking, as I've been playing with all of this, I was thinking about how do we want to do the center. That I don't know. Just adding a little bit of something here to the stem of the flowers and the leaves. Nothing crazy, just a little something. We probably could get super detailed. Don't know if I want to do that. But let's think about our centers now. You know what I'm thinking. I'm almost thinking about going in with a button for the center. And we sure could. So let me think on that for a second. So last week, no, not last week. Well, yeah, last week on Friday Live, I went ahead and experimented with buttons and we painted them. So we're going to go ahead and grab a couple of our buttons that we painted, and let's do 2 yellows and 1 pink. Let's do that, which was a lot of fun, you guys. Oh, I could do a purple one. Tempting, but I don't have any purple in this, so I'm going to stick with the color palette that we already have going on instead of trying to introduce a different color. I am going to be using my Fabri-Tac to adhere, not my Fabri-Tac, I'm so sorry. This is my Gem Tac to adhere the buttons to the center. Another layer of mixed media. Remember at the very beginning of this series, we talked about what is mixed media, and it's basically you're mixing different sorts of creative items together. So in this case, we have paint, paper, magic markers. I don't know why I always call them magic markers, but anyway, markers. And we have now buttons. So we have really mixed it up. I should have done the yellow on the outsides, but I didn't. So maybe I'll pick a third color. Let me see what I've got. I wasn't sure how a green one would look, but I actually like it. It's kind of a minty green, and it goes quite nicely with this down here. So now, my friends, how do we want to level this up? Well, I definitely think that we could go ahead and put some green grass down here. So let's go ahead and do that. And what I'm going to do is turning this way so it's easier to work with. And I'm going to grab my green paint, and I'm going to do just some of this, and then we're going to blow it around with the heat gun and see what happens. I'm not pressing on the bulb of this. I'm just letting the watercolor, or whatever this is, I'm just letting the liquid come out on its own. This is a really easy way, my friends, to paint without having to feel like you need to be an artist to paint, because as you could see clearly, we've created a picture, and you know, painting is not my go-to art form. I like the way that that's looking, my friends, so much so that I feel I'd like to go straight across this bottom part with a piece, and if it won't do what I want, matter of fact, maybe we'll just go ahead and hit it with this right off the bat, just to get some solid grass-like color down here. What do you guys think? Should I do some more? You guys, I'm loving this. This is so much fun. Do we dare take a chance and put a neat blue up there in the sky? I'm almost afraid to do it. Honestly, I'm almost afraid to do it. But if I was going to, I would probably just test it out in the corner over here with this paintbrush. And let me just see what happens. Let's see, and then what if I swirly whirly it with my finger to give it a super soft look? Okay, that I can handle. Let's do that. So we're gonna just touch this up here. We're just gonna go in just a little bit, nothing crazy. Okay, and now I'm gonna go in with my finger and just give it a little swirl. Oh yeah, I like it. Let's do just a tiny bit more. I don't want to overwork it, but I'm just going to put a few more in, just so it looks like maybe clouds. Don't want to mess it up. Just adding a little extra something. Look at that, my friends. Okay, check it out. I'm so happy with it. Totally mixed media, great experiment. All right, my friends, now while the other piece is drying, I'll show it to you again once it's fully dry. I thought we'd bring this one back to the table. And we had not played with these watered down acrylic paints. So I thought this would be a good one because remember we had the green and the pink both watered down. Let's go ahead and this is going to be a background for something. We don't know what, but I thought let's experiment with painting on, let me move this out of my way so I can get my paper in here the right way. Maybe painting on a stripe in the corner. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. Let's find out if this is too watered down or what. All right, I'm going to keep going with that. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and use the green and go the opposite direction. Look at that. I think it's so cool, and it's going to be a really cool background. Friends, I don't think this page needs anything else to be a fantastic background, so I'm not going to do anything with this. Now, I will admit to you, I don't like to waste my supplies, and I wasn't going to make any more papers because I think the 3 is good, but since I don't want to waste this, I'm just going to go ahead and put them on here and let it be what it is. Okay, we got all that. I'm going to go clean this up. Friends, since I don't like to waste my supplies, these are going to be fine. They're in spray bottles. I don't need to worry about that at all. But these colors that are in the cups, I need to clean up. It's time to clean up. But I don't want to waste them. So what I'm going to do is I have this old vintage music book. Geez, the copyright is 1919, printed in Germany. Gosh. That's amazing. Could that be how old this is? I don't know. The papers look like they're in pretty darn good shape. I guess it's possible though. It is sewn together with thread. But at any rate, let's not let that stop us. I mean, the reason I have it is because we want to be creative with things like this. So I'm going to go ahead and spread this Easter egg die on these papers. And I don't know that I'm going to use my heat gun on all these because that would take a little too much time. So I'm wondering if I just want to spread it around, or if I want to get really wild, put it on here, flip the page, and then just keep going. Maybe I do that. Let's go ahead and close it so we don't get spillage everywhere. And let's flip that page over and let's let it do its thing, okay? And then we'll go ahead. I might as well try to use up a lot of this blue. So I'll do the same thing on this one. These old papers, they're nice and thick. You can see, if you're able to, on this side, there's no bleed through even. It's amazing. I'm going to come back over, press that down, and then now flip both pages over. I don't know if it'll bleed through to the other side. Either way is fine. I can always go back in and do more. Well, I guess you've seen me do this a few times. You don't need to see me do the whole thing. What I'll do though is I'll come back and I'll show you the results after they're dry. Friends, I wanted to show you the dyed papers that I created using the leftover Easter egg die. You've seen enough green ones. Let me get to some other colors. So here we've got some blue and pink. Oh, and then this was, I mixed green and then some other colors here. This one has more of an orange hue. This one has a darker green. And then this is the cover. Here's the inside cover. And here's the outside cover. So I just wanted to show those to you real quick, my friends. Thanks for watching. See you soon. All right, my friends. So I am going to cut this one and I'm going to make some tags. Spring is coming up. So if I make a journal, that way I'll have some spring tags ready to go. Or I can use them on gifts or Easter baskets if I choose to give some out. All of my kids are adults, but I do still sometimes give them Easter baskets. So I might end up doing that, and I'd have a nice tag for it. So, let's grab this one. I think this one was the middle, and it really looks cool. I'll definitely use the other ones as well at some point in time, but I think let's start with this one. And as I'm just looking at the stuff that's on my desk, I'm noticing that this grow-free wildflower would look really good on there because of the colors. So let's go ahead and cut that out. And I'm going to measure how tall I want my tag. It's 4 inches across, which is a pretty good size tag, so we have to be at least 6 inches long or tall. Yep, so let's do that. It'll be a pretty good size tag. This can become a mat for another thing on another tag, or this could become a pocket. This could become a lot of different things, right? So we're going to hang on to that, put it over here. And sometimes I can straighten these out with my hand. Let me see if I can. Yeah, not too bad. Okay. All right, where did our little piece go that we cut? Here it is. So I'm loving that. I feel like I should mat one more thing under it though. Let me think, what would look nice? I do have this gingham, although I'm not sure how that'll look. Let's give it a test. Oh, the greens are a little bit different. I'm gonna look for something else. All right, my friends, so here's our base, and here's definitely the top. So I wanted to try out both of these to see how they would look together. So this is choice number 1. I don't mind it. And then this is going to be choice number 2, a little bit more of a monochromatic feeling. And I really do kind of like the monochromatic feeling, so I'm going to go for this. All right, my friends? All right, I got these glued together. Sorry, you can hear the washer going in the background probably. Anyway, I got those glued together and I love this tag. I think these colors are marvelous together. And I love that we just made them today and then I was able to create a tag. So I'm going to create a few more and then I'll show them off to you. All right, my friends, I am going to show you the dried papers. So here is one of them. I absolutely love this paper. Really looking forward to using it. And then we have this one. I love this one too. It's completely different. This one says fun to me. Love it. Can't wait to use it. Then here was our watercolor page that we did. And I love how this one turned out too. This was so fun to experiment with the, all of them were fun to experiment with the, I almost said tie-dye, but this was not the tie-dye sprays, although I do have some of those. This was the Easter egg dye. All of these were the Easter egg dye. And this was just so fun. And you remember we went around with a little bit of very thin fine tip marker and then added our button, colored buttons that I colored last week on Friday Live, and I love how this turned out. Now we have the tags that I want to share, and this is the first one that I did. Simple 3 layers of paper, nice and flat, easy to fit into a journal pocket. Then this one has the base, and then lace, and then gingham trim, and I think that turned out really super adorable. And then this one is the base plus this little tag and then some trim, which is rickrack with polka dots on it, and I thought the greens went really nicely together. So here are the 3 tags, and then we have 3 other pieces of done paper. I'm so excited about how nicely everything turned out. I want to show you the papers that I put the leftover sprays on, but they're really wet. So you know what I'll do? I'll probably create a short flipping through that or show that to you next week when we get together and create something else. I think we're going to stick with paint for now. We've done fabric. Now we're going to go ahead and stick with paint for a little while and see what other discoveries we can come up with. All right, my friends, I really appreciate you spending time here. If there's anything that you want me to do in this series, please let me know. I am happy to indulge you. Okay, my friends, thanks for watching. See you soon.